It's Derek Jones, and today I'm going to show you how to use Fusion 360 and a 3D printer to design gaming terrain. One of the best things about gaming, in my opinion, miniature gaming, wargaming as a matter of fact, is the actual design of the terrain that you're going to use in your battlefield. And on that note, I like to use my 3D printer to design pieces that are going to be used all the time. And so what we're going to do today is a concrete barrier, okay? And these can be used over and over and over, and they're very easy to draw, and they're very useful as far as gaming, as far as forming lines and terrain and dividing the battlefield up. So let's get started. I've pulled up an image on the web of what one looks like, and we're not going to go exact dimensions. We're going to sketch what's best for us. So I'm going to close Google, okay, and let me pull up my this is Fusion 360. I have a lot of tutorials on this page, but let me show you the basics of what we're going to do. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go to sketch, and I'm just going to draw a line. So I'm going to select the top plane looking down, and that's going to show me top view on my cube here. And I know that the figs are roughly, and I'm set to inches, just so everybody knows. I know the world works in millimeters, I work in inches. So we know that in the Warhammer world that the figs are based on being about 1 inch. An average human male would be about 1 inch tall. Space Marines come in at about 1.25 inches. So we're not going to go that high. So we're just going to draw a half-inch line, okay? And then we're going to come in and we're going to put a 63.4 degree angle, okay? And then we are going to go up to there and draw over there. We're going to duplicate the angle. And there we have the rough basis for our concrete road divider. Okay, so, and I'm just eyeballing it based on human proportions. This is in no way to exact scale, and there's lots of different. So you can play with this size. You can make it wider. You can make it longer. Whatever you want to do. So now I'm going to go to modify, I'm going to go to press pull, and I'm going to click on the object that I've drawn, and I want to make these about 2 inches long. Okay, so there is my divider. Pretty good. Now I've seen these with the cutouts on the bottom. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to select the right view, and I'm going to well, let me think about that for a second. So the key to gaming terrain is detail, okay? So we want to add some detail to this piece so that it looks real. So one way we can do that is we can select sketch, and we can go to text, and we can select a plane, and I'm going to just rotate this real fast. Why is that? And my rotate bar has disappeared. Sometimes it gets a little glitchy. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to click right here, and I'm just going to give it some numbers, DG-54. And then I'm going to rotate this. Okay. Why isn't it not letting me rotate? Okay. Alright, and that's too big. So what I want to do now is I want to come back in, and we're going to cut this to 125. Oop, oop. 1.25. Okay, so that might be a little small. Let's go to 2.5. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to set that roughly in the middle, and we're going to hit OK. Okay, so that's on our piece now. Now what I want to do is I want to press pull, so I'm going to select it, and I'm going to put -0.0625. Alright, so if we look at our divider now, we have a just a serial number or whatever you want to call it, and this is going to give it some authenticity when you decide to paint the model. We can go a little further than this, and we can add some additional features that will make it look maybe a little more fun than a typical one. So let's go to Sketch, and we're going to draw some circles. So let's click the top of our divider, and we're going to draw a circle right there, and I think we'll draw another one right there. These are just roughly the size 0.100. Now I'm going to go to press pull again, and I'm going to press this one and this one, and I'm going to bring them out 0.25. Okay, oh, that's too much, so let's go 0.125. Still too much, so let's bring them out a 16th. 0.625. There we go. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add a taper angle to it. So I'm going to put negative and 5. And we'll see what it does. It didn't work, so something's not right. I might not have enough distance to actually do that much of a taper angle, so let's see. Well, let's try a 5-degree angle. Maybe I'm way off. That's too much. Negative 10. Alright, so let's go negative 15, negative 20. Alright, so that gives it like a spike appearance. So here is our barrier with spikes. Now I can actually do some more things here, give it a little more texture. So what I want to do, I want to sketch, and I'm going to hit a rectangle, and I'm going to select the lower plane now. And I want to rotate that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add some cubes, and there's really no purpose for these other than just adding a little bit of texture that's going to pick up your paint when you're drawing or you're painting your part. Let's go to modify, press pull. We're going to press that. We're going to press that, and we're going to go to negative 0.0125. Okay, so now we have some holes in here. So, and you can play around with this. I like to remove areas and add detail. One thing we can do, we can actually we could add a circle here. Okay, let's sketch, center to circle, and we're just going to put a circle right here. Okay, then we're going to modify, press pull. We're going to drag it all the way through the model, and this adds a hole. This does two things. Number one, it lowers the amount of plastic you're using, and again, more detail. I don't like the sharp edges typically, but for gaming terrain, sharp edges pick up texture better. So these, even though they in the drawings they look a little sharp, when you actually paint the model, they'll help it look more realistic. So there's a concrete barrier. I'm going to print this out, and then I will show you what it looks like. I don't have time to paint them, so you'll get the raw one, but you get the idea of how easy this is to actually draw a piece of terrain. And once you draw it, you can print these out by the bazillions. And like I said, this is a piece of terrain that you can use over and over and over and over and over, and you just space them. That you can build roads, you can build barriers, you can build anything out of this stuff. So hold on, and I'll show you the 3D printed version. Oh, one last thing. We want to save this model, okay, and we're going to put this, I have a gaming terrain file in here somewhere, Wargaming. Make your own file, and I'm going to title it Concrete Barrier, okay. Then I'm going to hit OK. Now it's saved, and we know what the model is. What I can do is I can actually, and I don't know if it has concrete, so I'm going to go to modify physical material, and it'll bring up my physical material catalog here, and I'm not sure if it has concrete, but it definitely has stone, So let's go with, what are we going to go with here? I don't know if it has concrete. I don't think it does. Fieldstone, slate, stone. Well, we'll just go with limestone for now. Alright, so we'll close this now. And we'll go over to render. And we can see that this is our model, what our model looks like in rendered version. And so there is a concrete barrier with a serial number, a design, and some nodes just to add some texture. Go back to model. Now what I can do is I can right click on this box up here and I can say save as an STL. And this will allow me to save it as a file that is available for 3D printing. So I will save it as a binary. I want it on high and I'll hit OK. I'm not going to do it on this computer because I don't print off of this computer, but that's what you do. Then you would take that file, put it into your slicer program on your 3D printer and print it out. So I'll print this out now and I'll show you how it looks.
So here we have the printed final piece, and I printed this on hollow with support, so this used very little plastic. It's 100% repeatable, and I can print out as many of these as I want for whatever game I want. So there is the final product. Quick, cheap, easy, and adds a lot to the field.